Welcome back to more Material UI with myself, Myron, here to take a look at how do we do some custom stuff that's more component based to how we're creating things, so that we don't have to worry about the globals, because things like the text color here is a little hard to read, and we don't want to accidentally adjust it so that it adjusts these, which these are on a light color, so they would be even harder to read on that light color. So what we want to do is we want to change this one off for this component. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump on over, and what we looked at last time was these overrides. The problem with the overrides is that it's overriding globally based components. So there is a way to bring styles into the component. Now, I'm going to jump over to Material UI to show you kind of like how they document it. We're here on card. I'm going to look at cards, and we're going to go to just one of these cards. Now, they bring in this make styles. We can't actually use that in our project because make styles and how it gets used down here as use styles, this is the hook way of doing things, which means it has to be a functional component. We have in our project class-based components. Now, for those of you that are familiar with functional components, relatively new to the React space, but certainly like super cool to work with. I mean, I highly recommend working with functional components. They're a nice pattern, but these hooks are new. Functional components have always been there, but hooks and the way hooks works is new, that gives functional components the same sort of flavor that class-based components had. But just because Material UI's site is showing you the functional component way of doing it with hooks doesn't mean that there isn't a class-based way. Material UI has been around for a while, so it has the class-based version. So I'm going to show you the class-based version because Material UI doesn't document it specifically. So I want to show it to you to show you what you're looking at. So instead of bringing in make styles and doing this make styles in here, we need to bring in two dependencies. So we're going to bump over to our creature list item because we want to adjust these individual items in the headers. So the two dependencies that we're going to bring in are material dependencies, and they are going to be imported from at material UI core. So we're going to be core, but we're also going to add the withStyles. Now the two things that we want to import off of this are withStyles and also create styles. Now create styles is going to work fairly similar to how make styles is going to work, where we're going to create a variable that's going to have some sort of returned value from a function, and we're going to set configuration options like this. And I'll talk more about what these configuration options are doing when we jump over. But this withStyles is new that you wouldn't have seen over here on the Material UI page for documentation. withStyles is a way to adjust the import for the component. So when we are down on our export, what we're going to do is, so you can see I've already got connect and with router here, so I can get access to those things. But what I also need is I need to give it the custom styles that we're going to pass to it. So we need withStyles down here. I can't remember if it's style or styles. Styles with an S. Ooh, those pluralizations always get me. And this function is using currying. So we've got withStyles, and then first set of parentheses, second set of parentheses around our component. Now, inside of these first set of parentheses is where we're going to pass our custom style configuration. So I'm going to create my custom style configuration up here. This is the part that's going to look a lot like the functional component way of doing it. So we're going to do const, I'm going to say in UI styles, You can call this whatever you want. I'm just calling it MUI styles. You can just call it styles if you want. That's fine. And then we're going to use create styles. Now you might be thinking, oh, well, we'll use create styles like this, kind of like how they're showing over here. Not really. What we need to do is we're going to use a create function here. So it's a function that returns a function. So the MUI styles is a create function. It's a function that returns the create styles function. And inside of the create styles function, that's where we get our configuration object. But the cool part about MUI styles is it brings in this theme parameter. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about the theme parameter here in just a second. But we want to take a look, and you see it's got root, media, expand. Root, media, expand, these are not things that they have to be called. We can call these whatever we want to, and you'll see why that is here in a second. So what I want to do is I want to set up some custom styles, styles for main heading, and then I want styles for the subheading, and then styles for the content, specifically our description content. Now, I'm going to call these names that I'm making up right now. So this is me, Myron, making up these names. These aren't specific to Material UI. So we've got main heading. I'm going to call this one subheading. And then the last one I'm going to call description, but I'm going to use a shorthand for description, just desk. So now I've got my three main things that I'm going to be using to style. And on my main heading, I would like it, I'm just going to start with white. So I might be tempted to do, so at this point, this object here that is on main heading, I can do whatever styles I want here, just like we saw doing here when we were doing the overrides. So I can do the styles just like I did back there. So I'm going to adjust the font color by doing color, and then like I said, I just want to try a white here. So I'm going to do a white, right? So I might be tempted to do it this way, and maybe the same thing for the subheading. But doing it this way has some drawbacks. So I'm manually entering in the white here. So if somebody has changed my global white, this is no longer going to apply. We'll see what I mean here in just a second. So let's go ahead and make sure that we've got MUI styles, we've got the font heading here, and MUI styles needs to get passed to that first set of parentheses down here on the withStyles for the export. So now that it's getting passed, we can use it inside of our actual JSX portion here. What we want to adjust is the typography for the title and the subheader, right? So we need to pass it as an additional prop, and it's going to be the class name prop. And our class name in this particular case is going to be this.props.classes. And then, so this.props.classes is given to us because of what withStyles is doing. And what it's doing is it's placing our configuration onto this classes property on props. And specifically, we wanted our main heading option. So all of our styles for main heading are now going to get applied here. And then we're going to do the same thing for the subheading. Now we've got some classes with main heading and subheading. So now those two styles should get applied to our headings, which is super cool, right? Like we can now adjust those individual pieces. But like I said, if white was ever adjusted anywhere, then we wouldn't be using our specific white from our theme. We're just using our manually entered white here. Now, if we want access to theme colors, what we can do is use this theme parameter and get access to those colors. So we would do theme dot, and then all colors are stored on palette, and then I can do dot common white. And then I want the same thing down below, so I'm going to just copy my theme.palette.common.white and put it right here. Now we're using the settings that are the white, right? So if somebody decides, well, white's a little too much white, like can we do like an off-white, right? Then all of those would change appropriately. So that's the real power behind using that. And the next part that we want to tackle is this content piece. And we want this content piece to kind of be all the same size so that we don't have these huge variants. But if we have that, we're going to be cutting off some of the text here. So I'm going to make the area scrollable as well. So in order to accomplish this, we're going to add some custom styling here. I'm going to add a height of, let's say, 90 pixels. And I'm totally just making up 90 pixels. Maybe I need more, maybe I need less. Overflow, and then I'm going to use overflow Y. Set that to auto. Auto is how you get something to scroll. And then margin. Now you'll notice I'm opening up backtext. This is because I'm going to use theme again to use the correct spacing. So spacing has a specific pattern that it's using so that things are consistent. So what I want to do is I'm going to set the, let's just do the bottom. So we're going to have 0, 0, and then bottom is just going to be theme dot spacing, and then spacing is actually a function. So it's not a property like .common.white, it's actually a function, and we pass it a number. In this case, I'm going to pass it 3, and then I'm going to say pixels after that. So that'll give me my actual outputted value coming back with pixels. But I need to assign my description styles to the correct component, which is going to be this card content right here. I could add it to that, I could add it to typography specifically. I'm going to add it to card content just because the container is usually the more appropriate thing to add it to. So I'm going to say class name, and then we're going to pass it this dot props dot classes, just like we did up above, but this time it's going to get dot description. Now we can see everything's a uniformed height, which looks super sharp, but we also have a scrollable area here, which that's really nice as well. So that pretty much wraps up what we wanted to do custom-wise for the card. But we did have some additional stuff in here where we wanted to do some customization. I wanted to get some sort of custom look for the image, and then some custom look for the headings here. We'll start with the headings, and then we'll move on to the image. So for the headings, we really just want to go with something that's going to be a little bit lighter. I don't want to do the same white that I did over here because I want this to be special. I want the cards to be special to this area. So I want the treatment and the details to be different because I want these panels to look like they're something different. So what we're actually going to do for this is go into attribute. We'll do attribute first, and then we'll just basically rinse and repeat the same thing for habitat because both of the components are very, very similar. And we could potentially look at componentizing them into something that's a little more general later on. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at import our attributes. Before that though, right, we've made some changes, got our cards working, so let's go ahead and commit. Alright, so now we just need to take a look at our creature attributes. And same sort of thing. We need to import those two things. So I'm actually going to come over here, back to where we did it in the creature list item. I'm going to copy what we imported and paste it over here. And then we want a const of MUI styles that is a curried function. And then we're going to need some properties in here. Now really, we're only adjusting the heading, so I'm just going to put a single thing in here for block heading. And I think I'm going to want a color that is going to be a bit lighter. So actually, I think we'll use the theme.palette.primary.main. Right, because we set up something on primary main, so I'm totally able to leverage that here. And then I want a text shadow. And text shadow is going to give just a little something extra there. We'll say 0 with the 2 pixel vertical offset, and we're actually going to have this dithered a little bit, unlike the other ones. And then we're going to use theme.palette.common.black. Alright, so we've got text shadow and color on here. Now we just need to make sure that we're using our create styles, MUI styles, and we'll do that with withStyles. So let's go down to the export, and I'm just going to reformat this a little bit, make it a little bit easier to read. First set of parentheses gets MUI styles, and then second set of parentheses go around our component. And now I just need to use block heading where my attribute heading is. So we'll add class name with this dot props, and it always puts it on this dot props dot classes. Even if we were to look over at the Material UI version, like it still has classes, right? The only difference here is it's not putting it on props. They're just making it called classes here. So classes dot, and then our block heading. Now we should be able to come back over, take a look, and certainly now that looks like we can actually read it a lot better. The shadow helps a little bit to make it stand out some. So that's actually looking pretty decent. Now all we have to do is rinse and repeat for habitat. So let's jump over and get this working for habitat. Alright, so we've got both attributes and habitat title totally working. We're just going to click on the edit page to make sure that they're looking good. Hey, they're looking good. So now we want to do something about the image. I want the image to be a little bit more representative of something like this. So I'm actually going to add this light teal behind the image, give it a dark border, and maybe a little bit of padding so you can actually see the teal. And we'll see how that looks. So let's go ahead and start on the details page. We'll do that here, and then we'll probably give it a little bit of a different treatment on the edit page, just because this form field's down here, and it might be nice to have a little bit of overlap going on like we have on the home page. So we'll do that as well. So let's go ahead and get the image going. So we're going to close out the other other components that we have here, and I'm just going to open up details, and details, the image is in here, right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the custom styling. So we're going to import our styles here, and on the styles we're going to be looking for a couple things. We're going to be looking for the withStyles, create styles, and then when we do the custom styles, we're going to create something called image box. So let's go ahead and do our import. Remember, it's from Material UI core whack styles, and then we need two things. We need withStyles and we need create styles. And then I need to go ahead and set up my custom styles. So const MUI styles. Again, you can call that whatever you want. I'm just choosing to call it MUI styles. And then we pass to create styles an object, and that's where we're going to configure all of our custom styles. So like I said, I wanted something that was called image block, and we'll put that on there, and that will be our custom styling for the image. Now I just need to take care of the export down below so we can visually test whether or not this is working. Alright, like I said, I want border on here. I want to add a little bit of padding and some kind of background color. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to add, first off, box sizing. We're going to set to border box. This will help keep everything contained. And then I want a border. So now we should be able to test this out. Come back over here. Oh no! So it's saying, oh, I forgot palette between theme and common, so it needs to be theme dot palette dot common. That's going to work a lot better. As long as I have the other thing written correctly. I said inno instead of info. I'm sure you guys caught that as I was typing it. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. I mean, this is looking a little bit more close to like some of the stuff going on over here. I did say I'd rather have like the teal here, so maybe I change the info to the teal color, and we take a look at it with that, right? So we could potentially just do that because I'm not really using info on anything else. So let me change it to the lighter teal color. Now it's consistently using a theme color, and I'm not like coming over here and adjusting this with some manually entered color. So, I mean, it's okay, but I do like it with the other one because now it's starting to look a little bit too close to these. So let's go ahead and put it with the other theme color. So I'll just undo what I did there. And we've got the image working out here. So let's go ahead and call that good, and we'll go over to the edit page and make it do the same thing. But we're going to want to incorporate this and have it overlap, right? That was part of what we wanted to get done. So let's go over to the edit page, but first, totally commit. Now we'll go ahead and open up the edit page, and we want to bring over some of this same stuff. So we're going to bring over the imports. We're doing our styling. Bring over our image box styling. Alright, so we've got that on there, but we want this to do some overlapping. So in order to overlap, we actually need this content to be inside of box. So we're going to put it inside of box, and we're going to take a look at what we've got first before we start adding some additional styling there. Alright, so we've got some problems, right? The orange is coming through, is not looking so hot there, but we're totally going to fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new set of styling for, let's say, image edit box. So over here, we're going to come up, and first I'm just going to commit. And then we're going to add our custom styling. So up here we're going to have an image edit box. And in my image edit box, I want to reduce the width a little bit. So we're going to do width, and I'm going to set that to 85%. And then I'm going to do some padding on this as well, because we're going to give it a background color and a border. So some padding is going to be a good idea. We're going to use the back ticks so that we can use our theme spacing. And we'll use the 2 this time. Pixels. Whoop, pixels goes outside of the curly brackets. And then we're going to add some margin as well, because this is how we get it to look like it's coming outside of the space. We're going to do that same negative margin thing that we did before. So we're going to do margin. Now, use negative margin sparingly. Like, don't use it all over the place because it has some not so great effects. We saw before, like, it was overlapping things, so like we would have to actually add some buffer to account for that. auto just to center it, and then I'm thinking like a negative 60 pixels on the bottom. I'm not going to use the spacing because this is a little bit more custom. Spacing's for stuff that we want to like maintain a specific like rhythm. Oftentimes you'll hear it referred to as a vertical rhythm. And then we'll want some border. Border is going to be our 2 pixel solid, and we'll want our theme color. And then finally some background. Background color I am just going to set to be white. So we're going to say theme, palette, common, white. Again, I'm using the theme palette so that the coloring is consistent all the way across what we're working with. Now, I didn't need to put this into the backticks for template literal because I'm not putting in like pixels and there's no other values attached to it, so I just put it in straight here, which is totally fine. You saw me do that in a couple other areas. Now all we need to do is put image edit box down on the actual container around our form field. So it should be right down here. Where's our image? Oh, I haven't gotten to it yet. There it is. So this is our image area. We've got our styling around the box here. We've got the text field here. But we want actually to have an extra box around our text field because we don't want the styling on the text field. We want it on something wrapping the text field. So I'm going to put something wrapping my text field so that I get that feel to it. So we're going to put a box around it. And then for here, I'm going to go ahead and do maybe some, well, we don't really need, we've got padding being handled in our styles, so I'll just put the class name on it. And now we have something that looks a little bit better there. Now on this page, I probably want to add a little extra margin, right? These are getting a little close, so I'm going to add a little extra margin at the bottom of my image. This is mostly only for like larger images because we won't get this problem on smaller images that don't exceed this space, but this one does. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. But you can see like this is working out much nicer now. So let's go ahead and take care of that. By editing image box. And image box only needs like some extra added margin at the bottom. Now I could add it there, but I'm going to show you because we have box here, we can actually add it with box. And we can get, so we've got margin bottom here with 3, but we can really bump it up to like 10. And you can see we get some significant spacing. But probably don't need as much as 10, maybe 7. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So now we've got something that's consistent. We've got a little overlap here, mimicking what we have here. So that's really nice. And this is where we're gonna leave it for now. Like this is looking pretty sharp at this point. So thank you for joining me again for some more Material UI customization. In this video, we totally went over how to add custom styling specific to a component so that we could come in and add styling that isn't going to affect things globally, but it'll affect it locally to that component only. Thank you for joining me for talking about custom styling. We'll see you next time.